but not least, the man who created the biography book that took weeks and weeks to produce. He's a member of our search team. He is responsible for having tomorrow the concluding phase of the reunion at his home. I met with him in December this past year, and I begged him to allow us to contribute to this party tomorrow. And he said, Bob, he said, this is my treat. You're not giving me a dime. I'm doing this. Let's give it up for Roman Silverfeld. I'm trying to remember everything. All the gorgeous pictures here tonight are also the responsibility of Mr. Roman Silverfeld. Joining this group of 7 men, 6 plus myself, is an elite group of commandos known as the Internet Commandos. And last year, the background on the party was this. I was at a poker game hosted by Gene DiPiano, the class of '66, who was involved with the '66 reunion. And Gene looked at me while he was dealing cards, and he says, Bob, what are you doing for your reunion? I said, I have no idea. So I went home and I got my yearbooks out the next day, and Maureen saw this and asked me what I was doing. And I says, Gene DiPiano suggested that we have a reunion. And it's 50 years, and I had forgotten. So I went through the yearbooks, and initially Maureen wanted to have all of you come to our backyard. Well, when it exploded, that was, of course, out of the question. So we decided then that we would put people together. I assembled this committee that met in September, and then I decided to get a great cross-section of the class. And what we did, ladies and gentlemen, for 7 weeks, almost daily, we had chatter, we had information, we had feedback for all the men we did not know where they were. Would the following men stand, and please hold your response till we get through them. Mr. Gilbert Amistoy, Mr. Christopher Doherty, Mr. Paul Niedermeyer, who was a late scratch, he's not feeling well, Mr. Mark Roswell, Mr. Ivan Skapanovic, Mr. Bill Higgins, Mr. Bill Bradley, Mr. Verdell Hubbard, and Mr. Sam Tagliavore. Ladies and gentlemen, the Internet Commandos. When Roman and I met, I didn't know you were a commander. When Roman and I met in December, our goal and objective was to make this reunion affordable. We all know trying to go out for an evening, how horribly expensive a movie is, a round of miniature golf, anything is just gotten so expensive. So what we decided to do, we put something together, and thanks in part to what Roman is doing tomorrow, we created a weekend where a graduate could spend under $100 and get 3 meals. And thanks to the following group of people, when I call your name, I want you to stand up. These are our donors who put up extra money, and some of which are not here tonight. They donated their meal to the party. The following people, please rise if you can. Mr. Jonas Butkus, Mr. Roman Silverfeld, Mr. Bob Mullen, Maureen Reed, Mr. Juan Liu, Mr. Tom Magin, Mr. Terry Cashin, who is not here, Mr. Roland Italiano, who is not here, Mr. Mark Roswell, Mr. Frank Balderrama, who is in Spain and is just sick. He could not attend. Mr. Ross Coleman, who is in the state of Massachusetts. Mr. Sean McLeod, Mr. Frank Sabato, Mr. Sam Tagliavore, and Mr. Chris Doherty. Please stand. These are our donors. Please stand.
usual facsimile.
In case you want to know who that is, that's Mr. Rick Roswell, class of '68. I also want to acknowledge, I had these guys at my house a couple of weeks ago, and the notes were not real good, and these guys practiced their fannies off, is the only way to describe it, and performed beautifully at the memorial. They will be back later this evening once the open mic is used by anybody else. They're going to provide music later on this evening. Let's have the Vianney Voices stand up. Mr. Sean Wright, Mr. Jalil Romano, Mr. Ray Furnish, Mr. Ivan Skapanovic, Mr. John Toyer. I'll get it one of these days. And Mr. DeForest Wright Jr. Would you let's have a hand for the Vianney Voices? Especially want to thank young DeForest and Mr. JT, I won't even try last name, for providing the pictures for the programs that they got out of a yearbook.